Just 2 more wins for Liverpool to be crowned champions of England once again. That's right, but will those 2 wins edge a little bit closer this weekend? We'll take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about match number 33, that's right, in the Premier League, and we'll get to it in a second. Because if you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe button, subscribe for Premier League, Back Rovers, whoa, football, we're going to all here on No More Risky. That's right, Liverpool just 2 wins needed to become kings of England once again. What about the race to join them in the Champions League? It's got a little bit spicy now over in the top 4. We'll showcase you that and much more in a second. Big shout out to the members and the Patreons. You know who you are. So what we're going to do now, though, is revisit the last weekend's games. Of course, then you look at the Superbru, and then, of course, look forward to this weekend's drama. So sit tight, hold on. Let's get into it then, shall we? Of course, recapping the results from last weekend. And these are those. Man City put 5 past Crystal Palace in the end. A 3-goal scoreline, 3-goal difference, as was mine. Brighton and Leicester 2-2 in the end. Big point in the bag for Ruud van Nistelrooy. First point in a long, long time. First goals in a long, long time. Brighton with a 2-0 win. That was my pick. Meanwhile, Everton beat Forest at the City Ground and put a bit of a damp squib on their old Champions League ambitions. I went the other way. Villa did beat Southampton 3-0. I went with a 2-1 win. Arsenal and Brentford duked it out to a 1-1 draw. Again, I went with the home side. Chelsea did draw with Ipswich 2-2 in the end. I went with the home win. Liverpool did beat West Ham 2-1. I went with a 3-0 win. Wolves put 4 past Spurs, 4-2 winners in the Nuno Espirito Santo derby. And Newcastle put 4 past Manchester United. I went with a 2-0 win. And Bournemouth, what early goal there was the difference between the two sides. To get the big fat W. On the point of the table, though, as of right now, looks a little bit like this. It is Liverpool. We know that. Arsenal comfortably in 2nd. Forest are in 3rd. But they could be as low as 7th if everything goes against them this weekend. We'll need a major goal swing for that to happen. So, yeah, it's a little bit spicy, a little bit crazy. And we do know Southampton, they're down in the Championship. That's confirmed. Leicester and Ipswich look like they're going to go down there as well. So it's going to be pretty much a boring end to this season for the bottom end of the table. It's just the race for the top 4 with Aston Villa, Chelsea, all looking to get into that top 6 and top 4 and beyond. So that is that. What about the Superbru then, shall we? We'll have a little look at it then, shall we? Of course, recapping the results and see how that's shaking up our own prediction league table. What should be on the screen any second now, so stand by me. Stand by me. Yeah. It should be on the screen right about now. AJ24 kicking ass and taking names there. 12 points this past week. Nuts is up there in 2nd. And then O'Connor with Barcelona, David Dare, the best, K7, Bournemouth, DJ Hall, Raymond Reddington, and Linz, all sharing the bronze medal. Smash the old like, smash your subscribe. Of course, that's the weekly leaderboard. The overall leaderboard looks a little bit like this. Is that correct? It is correct. Barcelonista top the charts, 311 right now. Vinny Hong's in 2nd, and Blue Orbit. That's the guys who went into space. That was a Blue Origin. I don't even know. They went to space. Top bins. Oh, he's up 1 spot to number 3. And then the chasing pack. Do us a favor. Smash your subscribe in there if you see your name and more. Of course, we'll king you bang up to date with all that as the season comes to a close. If you want to remind yourself how to do it, because we're going to be doing one of these, hopefully, for the Club World Cup, maybe even the Women's World Euros. We'll see. But anyway, that is that. Prediction League, all that kind of jazz. So anyway, let's get into it. Busy weekend of drama coming at you. Somewhat of a double match week-ish. It's actually games from pretty much from Wednesday, tomorrow, the 16th, all the way through to Wednesday, the 23rd. But we're covering just the games from Saturday, Sunday, and possibly Monday. So start with Brentford. That is right. They're taking on Brighton, Hove Albion, coming at you at the Community Stadium. Let's get into it then, shall we? Brentford under Tommy Frank. They sit 11th right now, 43 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 4 matches. However, 1 win in the last 6 matches. Up against Brighton and Fabian Hutzler. They sit 10th right now, 48 points for the season. They're winless in the last 5. Both sides could do with a win. Played 24 times since 2003. 7 wins Brentford, 10 wins Brighton. There's been 7 draws between the two sides. Last round over at Brentford, it was was a 0-0 draw way back in April 2024. This reverse fixture at the Amex was also a 0-0 draw. So back-to-back 0-0s between the two sides. Speaking of draws, both Arsenal drew with Brentford as well last time around, and Brighton drew with Leicester last time around. Is this going to be a draw? Well, the bookies find it difficult between these two sides. It does smell like it could be a draw, but Brentford just about edge it on the bookie stakes. I've gone with a 2-1 win as well for Brentford to get back to winning ways. Let's go to Selhurst Park as Crystal Palace need to get back to winning ways themselves as they take on Bournemouth. That's right, Palace 12th right now, 43 points for the season, just one defeat in the last 6. Up against Bournemouth under the Elders boys, they sit 8th right now, 48 points for the season. They got back to winning ways last time around. Now they played Palace 17 times in 2011, 6 wins apiece and 5 draws. Last time around over at this very venue, it was a 2-0 win for Bournemouth, who are unbeaten against Palace over the last 3. They haven't conceded a goal against them in those last 3. But the reverse fixture was a 0-0 draw. That was back on Boxing Day this season. Palace, though, on the back of that 5-2 loss to Man City. Bournemouth with that 1-0 win over Fulham last time around. The odds for this one, again, very, very tight. Could go either way. Bookies can't really separate them, but Palace just about edge it, and they edge it with me. 2-0 winners as well. Over at Selhurst Park, Everton, getting some results under David Moyes right now. And I say David, I mean David. Everton coming at you, 13th for the table, 38 points for the season, just one defeat in the last 6. Up against Man City and the Pep, they sit 5th. 55 points for the season. They're unbeaten in the last 5, and they won 3 of the last 4. They played 56 times since 1993. 18 wins for Everton, 27 wins for Man City. There's been 11 draws between the two sides. They last played at Goodison was a 3-1 win for Man City back in December 2023. The reverse fixture this season at the Etihad was a 1-1 draw back on Boxing Day. Man City, though, picking up a 5-2 win over Palace. Everton with that 1-0 win away to Nottingham Forest. Big win for them. It's been very, very tight margins between these Everton and their opposition over the last few. Bookies expect Man City to win. I think I've gone with an upset here. I've gone with a 0-0 draw once again. Everton getting another point off at Man City this time around. West Ham United up against Southampton at the London Stadium. West Ham under Graham Potter, they sit 17th right now. 35 points for the season. They are winners in the last 5. Up against Southampton, Simon Rusk is now back in charge. 20 for the table, 10 points for the season. They are winners in the last, I don't even know, 9 matches, probably more than that. 47 times they've played since 1993, 21 wins for the Hammers, 14 wins for the Saints, and there's been 12 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at London Stadium, it was a 1-0 win for the Hammers way back in April 2023. The reverse fixture, a 1-0 win for West Ham as well at St Mary's to make it back-to-back 1-0 wins for West Ham over Southampton. Southampton did lose to Villa last time around. They've conceded 6 in the last 2. West Ham losing to Liverpool last round. They're again winless since the back end of February. The odds for this one then, West Ham expected to win. Of course, with the bookies, I've gone with a 2-1 win as well to continue a right on miserable season. For Southampton, Aston Villa will take on Newcastle, a bit of a spicy one at Villa Park. Unai Emery's boys are 7th right now, 54 points for the season, just one defeat in the last 6. Up against Newcastle under Jason Tindall at the moment. He's doing the honours. Eddie Howe's recovering from pneumonia. They've won 5 on the spin. They sit 4th. 56 points for the season. They played 58 times since 1993. 12 wins Villa, 28 wins for Newcastle. There's been 18 draws. Last time around over at Villa Park, it was a 3-1 win for Newcastle back in January 2024. The reverse fixture at St James's Park was a 3-0 win for the Geordies as well. Newcastle have won 3 on the spin against Villa, and they're beaten in the last 4. And there's been goals in these games. What are we looking at? 6, 12, 12, 16, 16, 19, 19 goals in the last 4 games between these two sides. And there's more than that. There's a lot of goals in this. So we'll see about that. Villa, though, coming into us on the back of that 3-0 win over Southampton. They got PSG as well at Villa Park, and that's actually tonight. Meanwhile, Newcastle they did take on Manchester United, and they won. They've scored 9 goals in the last 3 matches since that kind of a cup success. Maybe a hoodoo off their back. Villa are expected to win, though, with the bookies on this one. I've gone with them as well. 3-1 win, more goals, more drama, and Villa closing in on top 4. Return Fulham up against Chelsea coming at Craven Cottage, a bit of a London affair. That's, of course, Sir Marco Silva's boys, 9th in the table, 48 points for the season. They just won twice of the last 6. Up against Chelsea under Enzo Marquesca, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 6th with 54 points for the campaign. Now, they played Fulham 38 times since 2001. 3 wins Fulham, 24 wins Chelsea. There's been 11 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Craven Cottage was a 2-0 win for Chelsea back in October. The reverse fixture at Stamford Bridge was a 2-1 win for Fulham back on Boxing Day. Chelsea, though, picking up a 2-2 draw against Ipswich. 2 draws the last 3. They got Legia Warsaw return leg this week in the Conference League. Fulham losing to Bournemouth, early goal there. Bookies odds for this one, tight, very, very tight. Could go either way, could even be a draw. But I'm going to 2-0 win for Chelsea to maintain their they're good season. They're under the radar season. They've gone there. They're doing it without much fanfare, and maybe that's what they need this season. Ipswich Town up against Arsenal, coach at Portman Road. They do look down, though, don't they? Ipswich. Kieran McKenna's boys, 18 for the table, 21 points for the season. They just won once in the last 6 against Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta, they are winners. They are unbeaten in the last 6 matches. They sit second, 63 points for the season. They've got a small matter of a Champions League match this week. They played Ipswich 11 times. They've won 9 of them. Ipswich won 1, and there's been 1 draw. Last time around, over at Portman Road was a 1-0 win for Ipswich way back in January 2011. That was in the EFL Cup. But the last time they played at Ipswich in the league, they did lose 2-0 way back in 2001. It was a 2-0 win for Arsenal. But they did play this season in London. It was a 1-0 win for Arsenal back in December. Arsenal on the back of the 1-1 draw against Brentford. Real Madrid on Wednesday night. Chelsea and Ipswich 2-2 last time around. The bookies odds on this one will go with Arsenal. Of course they will. Expected a good win, perhaps. Gone with the 2. I've got a narrow win. Again, hopefully they've still got a bit of a headache. Maybe Arsenal from success, I would imagine, against Real Madrid, but we'll see. It's still, I think it's doable, right? I think it's still doable for Real Madrid, so we'll see. Anyway, Manchester United taking on Wolves, coming to Old Trafford. Man United at Ruben Amorim, 14th for the table, 38 points this season. They've lost, or they've not won in the last 4 matches. Up against Wolves under Victor Pereira, who've won 4 on the spin right now. They're sitting to 16th right now, 35 points for the season. They could actually leapfrog Manchester United with a win this coming weekend. Played 27 times since 2003. 17 wins Manchester United, just 6 wins Wolves, and there's been 4 draws. Last time around, over at Old Trafford, it was a 1-0 win for Manchester United back in August 2023. The reverse fixture at Molineux was a 2-0 win for Wolves back on Boxing Day. Wolves, though, 6-goal thriller last time around, 4-2 win it was over Spurs. Newcastle put 4 past Manchester United last time around, with Man United's last victory being a 3-0 away win to Leicester City. The odds for this one, Man United still favoured for the victory. I've gone with a 2-1 win as well for the Red Devils, but it will be good. It'll be interesting if Wolves could surprise us all with a win. Manchester United right in the shitter. Meanwhile, Leicester take on Liverpool, coming at you over at the King Power. That's right, Leicester under Ruud van Nistelrooy. They are 19th right now, 18 points for the campaign. Up against Liverpool, Arne Slot just 2 wins needed. This could be one of them, and they won 3 and lost 3 of the last 6. They played Leicester 40 times since 1994. 10 wins Leicester, 24 wins Liverpool. There's been 6 draws between the 2 sides. Last time around, of course, at the King Power, was a 3-0 win for Liverpool way back in May 2023. The reverse fixture this season, also a 3-1 win for Liverpool back on Boxing Day. Leicester with that first point in a long, long time, their first goals in a long, long time, 2-2 away to Brighton. Liverpool with that 2-1 win over West Ham. A little bit of a grind there by Liverpool, but they got there in the end. Expect to win this game, of course, with the bookies. Gone with a 3-0 win as well. That's 1 out of the 2. When will they get confirmed? Very, very soon. And then finally we go to London Stadium. Actually, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is Spurs, it is Forest, it is the Nuno Espirito Santo derby. Of course, must-win territory now for Forest if they're going to get in that top 4, remain in that top 4. Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou sitting 15th right now, 37 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 6. He could actually be fired before this match because all the pressure on that Europa League match against Frankfurt on the Thursday. Forest, though, under Nuno Espirito Santo, back-to-back defeats for them. Bit of an identity crisis, or a bit of a fork in the road for the season. Can they get back on that track? Much needed, when needed. Third in the table, 57 points for the season. They played Spurs 18 times since 1994. 9 wins Tottenham, 7 wins Forest, and there's been 2 draws. Now, the last time they played at this stadium was a 3-1 win for Tottenham back in April 2024. The reverse fixture, a 1-0 win for Forest back on Boxing Day earlier in the campaign. Forest, though, losing to Everton and Villa. Need to get back to winning ways. Spurs losing to Wolves. They only drew with Frankfurt in the first leg. They need a win. Otherwise, Ange is on his arse. Bookies odds on this one, it is tight. They go in favour of Spurs with the victory here. I've gone with a 2-0 win as well, but who's going to be in charge of that? We'll see very, very soon, of course. Anyway, if I'm right, that completes the pack for this week. This is what the table will look like. Of course, Liverpool edging closer, Arsenal in 2nd spot, and then Chelsea in 3rd. Forest down the 4th. Saints are doomed. Leicester, Ipswich not too far away, but of course, it is still to be decided. That's it, guys. Subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, we're back very, very soon. A couple of games over Easter, but until then, we are done.